Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, P51D Gunfighter will fly with B-29 in Missouri this month. AirVenture Fun Fly Zone celebrates ultralights, LSA, and rotorcraft. Alaska Airlines sells 737 MAX back to Boeing. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. P51D will fly with B-29 in Missouri this month. The B-29's History Restored Tour will be in Columbia, Missouri for a brief 4-day stop and will be available for flight experience rides Tuesday and Wednesday, July 16th and 17th. In a symbolic representation of their World War II history, Doc will be joined by the P51D Gunfighter, one of the aircraft that provided long-range escort and top cover for the bombers in the Pacific Theater. The additional protection and firepower was significant in helping Allied air power. Gunfighter was built in North American Aviation's Inglewood, California plant, and both it and Doc were delivered to the U.S. Army Air Force in March 1945. Doc was built by the Boeing Company plant in Wichita, Kansas. Following the war, Gunfighter was assigned to Olmsted Field in Pennsylvania, where present-day Harrisburg International Airport is now located. In another coincidence, both aircraft were retired from military service in 1956. Doc was reassigned to non-combat roles back in the U.S., assisting with radar calibration, target towing, and eventually as a bombing target at China Lake in California. Tony Mazzolini discovered Doc in the Mojave Desert in 1987 and began the long process of recovering and restoring the airplane. After the break, MD Helicopters announces new leadership.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. MD Helicopters announces new leadership. MD Helicopters has shaken up its executive leadership with a new president, Ryan Weeks, with Brad Peterson remaining in position as CEO. That helps organize some of the responsibilities in the company, putting Weeks on the operations side of things and ensuring everything goes smoothly on a day-to-day basis. Peterson will remain as CEO, but put his attention towards, quote, strategic initiatives with the board of directors, end quote. Falcon 9 booster successful in 22nd launch and landing. The 22nd reuse of the Falcon 9 booster sets a new record. This specific first-stage booster was first launched in November 2020 and has been stalwart in achieving SpaceX's multiple and reliable flights and landings. It has been utilized for a variety of missions, including Starlink and GPS satellite deployments, as well as resupply and crew rotation missions to the ISS. The successful landing on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean demonstrates the growing reliability of the company's launch-to-landing technology. NAFI announces 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. NAFI added the latest bunch to its Hall of Fame, inducting Doug Stewart and Tim Tucker for their work in, quote, improving safety through instructional excellence, end quote. NAFI's 2024 inductees will be honored for their, quote, significant contributions to instructor professionalism and improvement of pilot technique to further reduce the accident rate in general aviation, end quote, at the group's member breakfast during AirVenture later this month. Riding along with the induction announcement, NAFI highlighted the efforts of Stewart and Tucker in their quest to improve the quality of pilot education. iFly EFB rolls out Bluetooth Autopilot control. Adventure Pilot recently announced the release of a new feature for its flagship product. The iFly EFB app will now be able to manage an autopilot system wirelessly via Bluetooth. The feature is currently available for Android devices and is designed exclusively for experimental aircraft. An iOS version is scheduled for release at a later date. The innovative feature gives pilots more control and flexibility during flight by connecting their iFly EFB app to the autopilot without the need for a cable. That's it for today's Trip Around the Patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. AirVenture Fun Fly Zone celebrates ultralights, LSA, and rotorcraft. Oshkosh 2024 attendees can experience one of the more accessible sides of aviation by visiting the Fun Fly Zone, located south of the Vintage area along Wittman Road, one of our favorite places all the way back to the time when it was still Ollies Place. The area is home to ultralight vehicles, LSAs, rotorcraft, and hot air balloons, 60 commercial exhibitors, and a 900-foot grass runway adjacent to the Ultralight Barn. The ultralights pattern has been updated for 2024. Pilots flying in this area must obtain and possess a copy of the current FAA notice and follow the procedures. Daily grass runway operations during AirVenture run from 0700 to 2000, with a break from 14:30 to 18:30 for the afternoon air show. The flight schedule is divided into time periods to allow similar aircraft in the pattern at the same time. A mass hot air balloon launch is also scheduled for 0600 on Saturday, July 27th. Twilight Flight Fest begins at 8 p.m. at the Fun Fly Zone on July 22nd, 23rd, 25th, and 26th, offering demonstrations of a variety of aircraft, including powered paramotors, STOL airplanes, RC aircraft, and skydivers. 2 ultralights are celebrating anniversaries this year, the Titan Tornado's 30th and the Minimax's 40th. After these messages, Alaska sells 737 MAX back to Boeing.
Flying is my entire life. It's all that I've ever known. I've relied on Harzel propellers since about 1995. Harzel means much more than a propeller. It's a relationship. When you hear the phrase, built on honor, they care about us as pilots, they care about our community, and they care about the product they build. It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Alaska Airlines sells 737 MAX back to Boeing. Boeing and Alaska Airlines executed a formal buyback transaction which will return the 737 MAX involved in an explosive decompression in January 2024. The airline had taken delivery of the brand new plane 3 months prior in October 2023, and the incident led to a global grounding of all 737 MAX aircraft. The mid-cabin door plug blew out shortly after takeoff from Portland, Oregon, and forced the pilots to divert back to the same airport. Terms of the buyback agreement were not revealed, but in April, the airline said Boeing had agreed to pay it an initial compensation of $160 million. The payment covered losses Alaska incurred from lost revenues, inspecting grounded aircraft, and costs associated with irregular operations. Alaska expects more compensation from Boeing, but has not discussed details, and it has also already ordered a 737 MAX 10 as a replacement. The NTSB has been investigating the causes of the blowout, and we reported earlier in Prop Wash that the agency had penalized Boeing for publicly discussing confidential details about the investigation. Boeing has lost some of its privileges in the investigative process, including the ability to cross-examine other witnesses. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.